Hi, this is Bobby Curnow, Chief Turtle Editor at IDW Publishing, and you are going to have a shell of a good time inside the Pull Bag.
Welcome to The Pull Bag. Join us as we dig out our latest comics and discuss them with a rotating panel of the GCRN crew. So sit back and enjoy this week's Pull Bag.
Hello and welcome to The Pull Bag. This is Giant Size episode 116 and 117 all in one shot. I am your host, TFG and Mike. Joining me is Joe Reed. Hello.
Hello. I've never been a part of a giant sized issue.
You know, it's funny you mention that because it was Powers that gave me the idea to eventually do that. To call, like instead of, because originally I'm one of those people that I record all the time. And I have content ready all the time as long as it's edited beforehand, obviously. But it's one of those things where I'm like, through the almost 4 year, it'll be March of 2016 will be the 4th year anniversary for the Pull Bag. I can't believe it's been this long since I've been doing this show. In the beginning, the very first Batman month we did, celebrating 75 years of Batman, I had 13 podcasts for that. So I'm like, let's go the giant size route and just combine numbers. It's a hell of a lot easier. And plus we're on our way to Dark Side December where we talk a whole bunch of Star Wars comics. So, but you are here, I am here, and it is Turtles time because we have 47 or 49 to get through before next time we do issue 50. I completely forgot between the last time we recorded and now where the hell 47 picks up. And it picks up in the middle of where obviously 46 left off with the fight with the Jones boys. And I'm like, oh my God, that's right. That did happen. That's what was going on back then.
There we go. I had to, sorry, I'm stacking my comics and sorting them out. I got them now. I got them. We're good.
So, the story so far, Donatello struggles to manage his new robot body, Metalhead. Shredder, presumed dead by the Foot Clan, has struck a deal with Baxter Stockman. Meanwhile, a drunk Hun has gathered the Purple Dragons in front of the Second Time Around store to tear the place apart.
I don't think so.
Yeah, no, I don't think so either. And we open up pretty much where we left off in 46 with Hun with the bottle and I love how Tom is writing Casey. Like I know you've never been too enthused with the whole Hun as a character is Casey's dad thing, but I've always I love that back and forth between the two of them, and I love what Casey says. He says, "Didn't you break your face enough already tonight?"
That's harsh that he has to talk like that to his dad. But it's good that he's tough enough to stand up to him.
Yeah. So Mr. and Mrs. O'Neill are in the house, and they're like, call 911, tell them to send everyone. And then Casey, again, it reminds me of anytime on the internet where someone uses this line, and I think that's probably where Tom kind of was going with the reference, or maybe I'm just reading too much into it. Go home, Dad, you're drunk as a skunk. And I'm thinking, every time somebody on the internet says something, someone always replies to the comment, go home, you're drunk. And it's basically Hun and his Purple Dragons versus Casey and Nobody and Alopex. I love this is Corey Smith's art still. I'm really getting used to Corey Smith as the artist. I love the way he draws Alopex and all these characters. I mean, Hun and Casey just look.
Oh, this is Santaluco.
Is it?
Yeah. Santaluco did this whole arc, I think.
Oh, that's right. I'm sorry.
No, but I want to go see Corey. I want to remind myself.
Because I swear it was Corey's Turtles that I saw earlier.
What was the last name?
Corey Smith.
There he is. Comes right up.
Yeah. Yeah, Mateus did do this one, but I think in 48 and 49, I think it's Corey Smith.
Yeah, I'm looking at an issue of that. Yeah, you're right. I like his turtles too.
But okay, so this is Mateus. I'm so sorry, Mateus. I'm so sorry, Corey, that I confused the two of you. My point still stands. Casey and Hun look just amazing. There's like if you look at the panel where where Casey says, "Yeah, I learned from an expert, didn't I?" Just the way Casey's face is, the way his hair is, the mask is up, and the way the bat and the little bat, just, oh man, all the little minor touches to this are just so great.
Speaking of Santaluco, this whole arc is an incredible achievement. I can't imagine the amount of art, how quickly it got done, and how good it all looks. Like, I draw, but I don't draw like this. I think I've said that a lot reading this book, but this was an achievement.
This is one of this whole arc, and even going into 50 next time when we talk about 50, this whole arc essentially caused Mateus to say, "Hey, I need a vacation. I'm emotionally and artistically spent." I'm not trying to put words in the man's mouth, but I mean, in 51 and 52, it is a completely different artist that we have never seen before. So when we get there, but so we get to the fight. It's all they're outnumbered, and John and Beth is like, "John, where are you going?" "To help." And just that panel, it looks like he's almost falling down the stairs. It doesn't look like he's running down the stairs. It looks like he's falling down the stairs. So essentially what happens here is everybody in the neighborhood decides to take back the neighborhood from Hun and the Purple Dragons. Hun and Casey get into a huge, obviously they're fighting, and Casey's basically beating up all the other Purple Dragons, and I love the one where Arun comes down and cracks Hun in the back of the neck. He's like, "Who the Arun, Mr. O'Neill, what the hell are you doing here?" "No, Biggie, just helping a neighborhood."
With a toaster?
With a toaster?
That's all I had to grab.
Besides, I can never get the damn thing to work properly anyway. I love this. This is a battle that is just so awesome. And I love Angel here. She's just so great. Don't look now, boys, but you just got owned by a little girl. Oh, and the puppy dog, she bites. We just, right before this episode went out, we put out an interview with Tom Waltz. It took me a year or so for us to get that interview. But we talked with Tom, and oh my God, talking to that guy was just so fun, so awesome. Just as fun as it was talking to Bobby. For those that don't know, Bobby Curnow, the editor of the book. And just everything that Tom had to say about Turtles was just so wonderful.
Yeah, and to be honest, he's old enough to. I mean, he's just slightly older than us, so he was into it when it was the dark early comics, and but boy, does he love that like a fan, and he seems slightly beyond it and older than a lot of the stuff that we grew up with, but he still cares about it enough to know it and to write it in these books with an incredible amount of heart. I admire that and appreciate that as a craftsman.
I remember I said, I've said to you before that this was the IDW Turtles verse was my first foray into actual Turtles comics, and because I've started with the cartoon and the movie and whatever else. I don't know if I can go back and read the old Eastman and Laird stuff. I mean, don't get me wrong. I understand they're the co-creators of the brand and everything else, and they did an amazing job with what they did back then. But I just love Tom's stuff so much. Yep. I just don't know. And I know that was different times and everything else. So back to 47 here. We've got the neighborhood basically rising up and taking it back, and they essentially beat Hun down. And he comes back with this whole argument about, you're not the only one with a new family, and talking about how the purple dragons are essentially a dime a dozen kind of that's not his new family, and just this whole thing with Casey and him back and forth, and it's really interesting to see how far these two characters have come in nearly, well, at this point, 47 issues.
Yeah, I think after 50, the Hun story arc and Casey's story arc is going to get a rest, but I'm hoping that before the end we see this.
I think here, well, see, the thing here is it's gonna change because you've got Casey and April going out west, obviously in Casey and April miniseries.
The whole Casey and Hun arc and his dad arc is I think it's going to take a rest after 50, but I'm hoping that at some point we get to see the resolution and the redemption happen. I mean, this is almost like a Luke Skywalker and Darth Vader story. I mean, there's
almost, yeah,
the fall.
Yeah, because I think at this point, especially here in 47, we've got, Hun being arrested and supposedly taken to jail, and then I don't know where they're taking the Hun character, because in this issue, I believe it's this issue, and we'll get to that, the Mutanimals break him out. So I'm not sure where that's like I said, I know Casey and April, they're focusing on their relationship, and I'm hoping, I don't know how you feel about this, and I know obviously the police can't always get involved in anything the Turtles do, but I really like Detective Kara Lewis. I want to see her more.
Yeah, I wonder if that's going to be an in for Angel at some point. I don't know who that character is well enough, but I will be paying attention. Right, yeah, she's right here on the next page.
I mean, I think it's just someone that maybe they brought in. I don't think it's a character from...
No, nothing that I've read.
I mean, yeah, so... and she says, "You just helped us bag one of New York's most wanted." And Casey's like, "Most wanted, huh? Not by me." Love Casey. And then the other SWAT guy is like, "I saw a giant white fox and..." Nuh-uh. Nope. Stop right there, Johnson. We got Hun. That's enough. Anything else is more paperwork. And I hate paperwork. So we get to the Turtles, and this was one of the reasons why I thought that it was Corey and not Mateus, is because Mateus is using with Mikey and with Leo the things that Corey started, I think.
Yeah, the
like
different
that style.
tasks.
No, not the different the sizes of the head, the different, like, I don't know. But anyway, so April comes back, and she's like, they're talking about this scroll, and they're trying to figure out the scroll that she got from the professor, whether they should destroy it or not, and apparently they're not going to be doing the destroying of this scroll, because according to Splinter, this version of it speaks of threats from the ancient past, but potential dangers to come as well. So, and we also get, I think, is it all three of the Rat brother, or the Rat family, the Rat King family?
Yeah. Kitsune, Rat King, and Chiyu.
Chiyu, yeah.
Currently floating somewhere in the Ghostbusters universe, in outer space, far away from Earth.
And April's like, "Oh, we want to help out more," and they're gonna go out west and do some exploring. So at this point now, Casey and April are out west. We go back to the Foot Clan. And Karai's not exactly happy.
I haven't seen Karai in a long time. I mean,
yeah,
just by how far ahead we got. Good to see her again.
Yep.
Shredder's presumed dead. She's kind of assumed command and is not happy with how things are going.
Until Shredder shows up, yeah. With Baxter Stockman. I don't know. I like that image of Shredder where he's just in the chair.
Yeah, I was just looking at that and going, that's the one page of original art I would love to buy from this book. That page right there.
And she's trying to basically tell him that, hey, look, Stockman's, we are the foot, a family. We need no others but ourselves. We must purge those who do not belong and everything else. And Shredder's like, no, he needs to, be here so, we can fight Hamato Yoshi and kill him and whatever else. And Stockman has this weird headgear thing.
Flyborgs.
Yep. And she's trying to make the argument about how this is not honorable, the whole thing of using the Flyborgs and the Mousers and everything else. And he's like, honorable, Karai? This is vengeance.
As I say, this is uncharacteristically Shredder. In this universe, he doesn't really go for Krang's help. He doesn't really go for Baxter's help. But in this one instance, kind of says how desperate Shredder is now after that loss on Burnow Island.
Yep. Baxter, I'm just waiting. I don't know if oh damn! I wish we could have asked Tom that. Damn it! Now that I think about it, I just want him to become a fly at some point. Really, come on. Even if it's just a dream sequence, like please, just give us that '80s cartoon homage, please. Because if you look at him when he's saying extermination, look at that headgear and look at his. Oh my God! We knew that Baxter was crazy, but that look, he looks like Jack Nicholson from The Shining, for crap's sake.
I'm sure we're going to see him as the Fly at some point.
Oh, I hope. So we get back to Detective Lewis and Johnson, and they're seeing all these Flyborgs and whatever else, and Angel and Alapex see them. The rest of the family sees them, and we then
how do they know where to go? I don't remember how he found them.
It doesn't. Tracking probably. Doesn't Shredder still have Splinter's DNA? Because the Flyborgs are after Splinter. They're not after the Turtles.
All right.
Because in future panels it says "kill the rat, kill the rat." And we get back to Harold's lab, and I don't know. I'm getting used to Donnie as Metalhead, but I really wish in the future Metalhead would be his own character again.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously, we know already, since we've already read 50, that Harold's going to have to build a new Metalhead, but we'll get to that when we get to that.
In the old cartoon, I don't remember an episode with Metalhead. Mm-hmm. Was he his own character?
Yeah, he was his own thing. Because he was in the Turtles in Time game as his own thing.
Oh, he was a bad guy in that. I remember that.
Yep. And so they're tracking the, he inserted Doppler radar set up around the church because he wanted to find out certain things or whatever, and he sees the swarm, the Stockman swarm, and it's heading for my house, and we have Leo and Splinter in there, and Mikey and Mikey. Hey, anyone see the remote? Did you check the fridge, dork? That's where you last left it. That's where you left it last time. And then the Flyborgs all come in, and we have the battle. This isn't the biggest, coolest battle, obviously, not yet anyway. But I do love that giant panel where Raphael is saying, what does he say? It ain't Don they're after, and then they're all saying, "Kill the rat, kill the rat." I love that, and that's how we end this one. Overall, what did you think of 47?
Well, with those Flyborgs busting in, the line that jumps to my head is, "Boy, and I thought insurance salesmen were pushy."
Pushy. Oh, I love Robbie Rist as Mikey. I know everyone loves Townsend Coleman, and I do too. And I know everyone loves now Greg Sipes with the new series. And I forget off the top of my head who the voice actor was in the 2003 series, but I love Robbie Rist as Mikey. He's just oh, fellow chucker, eh?
I watched that scene in slow motion on VHS and taught myself how to do those nunchuck katas. All in all, I think I loved this issue more reading it the first time.
Hey, what the? Whoa! And I thought insurance salesmen were pushy.
Okay, so final thoughts on 47, Joe?
I think I liked this issue more when I was reading it because it was the slow build. In hindsight, going back, I can see how it is a little slow, a little creeping toward what's big. But I just, reading this in the time, I didn't know how big it was going to get. And now that I know how big it got, this just seems so insignificant now.
So issue 48 picks up right where 47 left off with the fight. And we start off with Splinter, "My sons, defend yourselves." Oh, man, the art. Before I get too far, 48 is, the script was by Eastman and Bobby and Tom. It was written by Tom. The story
Corey Smith took over for this issue.
Yeah, Corey Smith took over for this issue, and obviously Rhonda Pattison is the colorist.
Rhonda Pattinson colors every book that IDW does. I don't know how she...
No, she doesn't color them all, but she colors all the Turtles books. She doesn't color them all. No, there are plenty of other colorists.
I thought she...
No.
She only does Turtles? I thought she did a lot more.
I think I'd have to look, but I know, like, she's not on any of the Transformers stuff or any of the My Little Pony. She might be on some of the My Little Pony stuff, but I don't think so. I'd have to go look. So I love this giant panel where Splinter says, "Defend yourselves." The back, just the red and the red around all the edges in the center, the yellow-orange thing with all the turtles, and, well, with 3 out of the 4 of them, obviously, because Donnie's not there, even in his metalhead body. Oh, man. Turtles versus Mousers. Like, okay, don't get me wrong, the Flyborgs are alright, but, I mean, we've been watching Turtles bash Mousers in since we were kids.
Yeah, it's my favorite villain. Turtle
it's just...
villain.
Yeah, it's just so awesome. Splinter is kicking some major ass. And they're like, "Oh no, Donatello is defenseless. We must get to him." And we have this really nice, touching moment between Leo and Mikey. And I've always said that, for me personally, the team up should be Leo and Raph and Donnie and Mikey. But whenever they do switch around, I love the moments that they do have.
My son and I are watching Nick's series, and a couple of weeks ago we went through the episode where they called Leo and Raph called them the B team, Donnie and Mike.
Yeah.
We're the A team. What do you mean? Does that make us the B team? And then they just end up sucking the rest of the episode, and I felt bad.
Yeah.
So yeah, that is the common pairing, and usually it's just because of Leo and Raph's animosity that they end up getting paired together.
Absolutely, and it's also because of Donnie and Mikey's just kind of easygoing. You look at the movie. Pork rind. I mean, and even throughout the entire movie, and even into the second movie, it was always Donnie and you look at that first final fight in the first movie. "Hey Donnie, Wheel of Fortune, dude." I guess they're not game show fans, and I thought everybody loved Vanna. So this little moment here between Leo and Mikey, Leo's like, "You're gonna stay here, little bro, and keep an eye on Donnie," and he's like, "Okay, yeah, sure, I got this, no problemo." And this, to me, is the start of them taking Mikey down whatever path he's going to go down after 50. Because before this moment, Mikey... I mean, throughout the entire series, throughout everything, not just the ongoing, but through Secret History, through Turtles in Time, through whatever that the Turtles have been. Mikey, for the most part, he's been that easygoing, goofball kind of character, and I'm not saying that in a bad way, but I'm glad that they're finally taking him and turning him a little bit more serious and actually giving him a voice for his. Because normally it's Raph, Leo, and Donnie that come up with everything, and Mikey just goes in and kicks ass for the most part. And he goes, he's talking to Donnie's body as Leo walks away. He's like, "You'll be okay with me, bro. Don't worry." "I'm not worried, Mikey." And crap, Robo Bro, don't do that. You totally gave me a heart attack. I love this. I absolutely love this. So Donnie, as Metal Don, says, "Oh, where is everybody? We gotta go help them, blah, blah, blah." But Leo said to stay with you because of the body. And they actually have, they have apparently, Kirby Fan has apparently consulted Scotty and got the whole thing of transport beaming down apparently, because they transport Donnie's body to Kirby Fan's lab, and next thing you know, Mikey and Metal Don are out and they're getting ready to kick some ass. We get back to Kara. It's in this issue. I'm sorry, folks. I thought it was last issue. It's in this issue that Hun gets broken out by the Mutanimals, which I'm wondering where that's going to lead.
Yeah, I didn't see it coming, and the Mutanimals don't do anything without a reason, and we have not been given any indication as to what this reason is.
Not even in the Mutant. I mean, the Mutanimals series was its own thing, and that's all cool, and we liked it, and whatever else. But we haven't seen them since then, right?
Nope.
I don't.
This is.
So
all new.
Yep. And I'm wondering where the hell and what the hell the Mutanimals and Hun are going to do. We get back to the Foot Clan, and it's Shredder and Kitsune talking in some weird language, because obviously there's parentheses around everything. I guess they're talking in Japanese, probably. And they're talking about Karai and the whole thing, and it just creeps me. Normally Kitsune creeps me out, and she'll creep me out later when she does her little fox face for Alopex, but every time she calls him beloved, it just creeps me out. I don't know what her deal is. I gotta say, probably go ahead. What were you gonna say?
Well, I can't wait to find out what her motives are, and honestly, I don't think it'll. That's probably the payoff. That'll be another 50 issues away. Is what is her end game? What's the game she's playing? Yep. And then, well, in this scene where she's talking about, hey, why do you have Baxter here? That's totally not a cool thing to do. And well, we need him to kill Splinter. I'm just gonna let him do it. And Karai's listening to this, going, this is just bull crap. We don't need this silly dude. And she's worried about the outsider coming in and how dishonorable it is to let somebody else do the killing of your giant nemesis. But at this point, Shredder doesn't care.
He doesn't care. He just wants the vengeance. I love, and again, it takes Stockman to a whole nother level with this headgear he's got. See, I didn't say this in the beginning of the podcast, but because of my mom passing 6 months ago and Social Security and all that stuff that's involved in that, apparently they owed me some money. So I actually went to the comic shop. I actually have 47 to 50 in actual print issue. I'm not actually they're over on the shelf, but before we started this, I went back and just to refresh myself, I actually looked at the physical issues, even though I'm using Comixology to look at this now. I remember looking at the physical issue, seeing the image of Stockman with his little eye vision thing of the turtles, and I'm like, wow, that's creepy. Here in Comixology, it's even creepier because they have a close-up on his face with Shredder to the left, and then the image.
That's a spectacularly drawn image. That weird 3D-looking fly eye is way cool.
It's way cool. So we get back to Splinter and the Turtles, and they are just killing the Flyborgs all over the place. Donnie and Mikey are, doing all kinds of stuff here, and get to a point where it's too much for them, and they got to go for a swim. I love Mikey and Raph here. Oh, friggin' great. Don't be a baby, Raph. It's just a little water. Yeah, you keep telling yourself that, Mike.
I think that I keep relating it back to the Nick series because they were running around the sewer for a season and a half, and somebody says, "Mikey, this is a sewer. There's that over there." He's like, "What? People? Don't they know we live down here?"
Yeah.
It's like for the first time in 15 years, he realizes where he lives and what it is.
Yeah. So we get a whole water scene with the turtles and Splinter and all that, and they're still Donnie turns on his little headlights, and apparently they found them. That's not good, and the battle continues. Well, I like this battle. This isn't the battle I'm waiting for. This, because obviously we've already read it and we already know.
Well, at this point, I'm going, okay, this is going to be 50 is going to be the huge issue. They've said that they're kind of getting us ready for it, and I'm going at this point like, man, why the Mousers attacking the turtles in their lair does not seem like the biggest battle. I mean, I really thought that the Technodrome was going to be 50. And so things got moved around. They played with my expectations. But at this point, I don't know what to expect because it doesn't feel like it's building. Well, I guess, I don't know. That's what it didn't feel like it was building to anything. And I contradict something that I said before, but we know it's building, but it doesn't feel like it's building because it's just the Mousers. They can handle Mousers and Flyborgs. But so it paid off in a very different way eventually.
Yep. So Alopex and nobody show up, and everybody's all happy to see them. Everybody reunites, and everybody basically forms a circle. So it's that I don't mean standard in a bad way. It's that standard good guys form a circle in the center of the room, and all the bad robots circling around them. And that's how this one is kind of left off.
What do they call it? Circling the wagons? Is that?
Yeah, circling the wagons. Yeah, that's a good analogy there. I friggin' am loving this. I mean, yeah, I'm not too thrilled with the overall battle because it's just turtles versus robots, but overall, 48 was pretty awesome. It had some cool moments with Mikey because that's gonna lead him down the path that he's gonna eventually go. But overall, I enjoyed 48. What about you?
Yeah, I guess when I read it originally, I was just more curious as to where it was going. I couldn't see how the big end was coming, and so it was falling flat for me at that point, only because it just wasn't meeting these weird expectations. But it's still classic story, beautifully written. That's not a knock. I don't know how a weird criticism like that cannot be a knock, but it's not because Tom Waltz is amazing at doing this, and Bobby and Kevin and everybody, they're plotting this out, and we can look at this now with the hindsight of saying how amazing 50 was, but
Yep. So issue 49 starts off. Shredder, bent on revenge, has enlisted Baxter Stockman's help in destroying the TMNT once and for all. Stockman unleashes a swarm of Mousers and Flyborgs, which have just hunted the turtles down.
Every time you read it like that, I want to do the drum, like the Law and Order.
Yep. Dun 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 dun. Yeah, absolutely. So we start with the villains of all things. We start with Bludgeon and Koya, basically making fun of Bebop and Rocksteady. Nailed that cat right on the noggin with an anvil. Man, I wish I had an anvil. I love Bebop and Rocksteady.
Yeah, favorite iteration.
Now they are. Like, every time I get a chance to, I don't put it in often, but every time I get a chance to, when we're talking about Bebop and Rocksteady, I always grab the old clip of the beginning of Turtle Tracks, the beginning of the 87 series, where he's talking to April. I'm going to make you eat that camera. So Bludgeon and Koya walk off. Because the difference between Bludgeon and Koya and Bebop and Rocksteady is Bludgeon and Koya are the serious minions. And, Koya is taking this all so seriously. Now we have a chance at retribution for failing to protect him from his enemies. How do they not see that? We then get back to the fight. And doesn't seem like Stockman has full control. Because apparently... the blasted ninjas that Shredder put into the fight because they killed all his robots, apparently.
No, I think these robots were sent by Karai, and
they were, yes, but the way Stockman says it is, the blasted ninjas you decided to order into the fight without consulting me. I gave no such order.
Karai! You're grounded.
Where is that damn girl? So we got the Foot versus the Mousers and the Flyborgs. This looks awesome. This looks really awesome. I love the little 4 or 5 panel thing with purple and red. Oh man, so cool. That's just a testament to Rhonda's colors.
Yeah, I think she needs to be our next interview.
I will go after. I'm not sure how it's going to work now because my media PR person contacted IDW just got promoted to a different position, so I'm not sure if I'll have to deal with somebody new or not. Mm-hmm. I'll have to email her and ask about that. So Mikey, after the Foot fight, Mikey's like, I'm totally confused. Karai shows up, and they're like, we want to destroy you with honor. And they have some talking pieces, and she's talking about, like I said, she asks him to hear her out, and then he asks her to hear her to hear him out. Yeah. Yay! I can speak English, ladies and gentlemen. And Splinter gives her this huge speech. You speak of honor, and yet you are prepared to annihilate a small few with a great many. With such uneven numbers, what you call the warrior's way would be unjust, as allowing his machines to continue their attack. But if it is truly honor that you seek, there is another way, Oroku Karai. You know this, and just as honorable way as steel against steel, the Foot way. And they go on to talk about the gauntlet and everything else. We then go back to Burnout Island, and we see that's where Harold and everybody is, apparently. See, I thought they were in his workshop, but apparently they've been on Burnout Island since they took it over.
Harold is, what's he doing? He's remoting in. Fugitoid is there on Burnout Island with all that technology.
Okay, that's what it is. Yeah.
He's saving the Krang and
building
Donnie a new shell.
See, I didn't even notice that the first time I read this. I was so concerned with the fact that he's got Donatello's body, I never even noticed the new shell. And it just makes 50 even more powerful. Mm-hmm. It really does. What do you think of the panel shot where we originally go to Burnout Island here and just the way that the Technodrome looks? And
it looks a little Walking Dead already. Yeah. That only happened like 5 issues ago.
Yeah, I know. Mm-hmm. So they have a little argument about fixing their friend and everything else, and
we get another reveal here on this giant page.
The Krang stuff.
Oh,
you mean?
Leatherhead.
Oh, that's right.
Leatherhead brings mutagen to the party. We haven't.
But we don't
seen
really see him. We only see
hand and tail.
Yeah. I forgot about this. And we see his shadow on the wall there.
And the last time we saw Leatherhead was Turtles in Time in the pirate area. Yep. They dumped mutagen where there was a gator on what would be known as later Burnout Island.
Right,
so
yeah.
Leatherhead's been running around there. So this is going to be interesting because in all the other iterations except for the cartoon, the 90s cartoon, Leatherhead is an alien that the Utroms, Krangs, experimented on. So this will be interesting to see what his real origin ends up being. I'm sure we'll get another micro series with him in it at some point.
I hope they start doing the micro series again, even if it's like once every couple of months. It doesn't have to be a monthly thing. Make it a special thing where you have 4 or 5 characters over 4 or 5 months, spread out. But yeah, no, as soon as
now that 50's over, that'll happen.
Oh God, I hope. I know I probably freaked Tom out when I told him my idea of the Raph and Alopex kind of romantic not comedy, but the whole them off on their own adventure kind of. I don't know.
It happened in the Archie series.
I know. I just want to see more of Raph and Alopex.
Me too.
And so Leatherhead comes in, and I know both Tom and Bobby in the latest interview we did with Bobby a little while ago, and the interview we just released with Tom, they both mentioned Leatherhead and how he's going to come in. And I didn't even realize it was this early. Well, like okay, sure, we just see him here. We just see his hand and tail and his shadow. But I forgot that folks, when I'm getting the comics and I read them, if I'm not writing a written review of the stuff, and it takes Joe and I a while, because originally we were going to do all this stuff way earlier, but life got in the way.
Yeah, so I'm moving.
Well, yeah. No, I meant both of our lives, not just yours.
Oh yeah, yours too. I forgot,
I know, but I'm just saying, it's like, life got in the way, and we couldn't figure out a good thing, and then I'm like, oh hey, let's just do 47, 49, then we'll do 50, whatever. But I haven't read 49 in, I don't know, a month or so, a couple of months when it first came out. So it's been a couple of months since this came out, and I'm like, oh yeah, Leatherhead, very cool. And Karai shows up and destroys Stockman's tech, and she and Shredder kind of have an all-out war, and Kitsune is like, but don't you want to hear what she has to say before you pass sentence? And Karai has this, this great speech. I'm trying my best not to spoil this, folks, but I'll tell you this. We're going to spoil the hell out of 50 next time, folks. But I love the panel and image where she says, where she tells him, therefore it is my sworn duty as a Foot Clan Chunin to help my master see the true path forward, no matter the cost. There is a better way, master. Is past, and I didn't realize now why his face looks like that in the because I thought it was Kitsune, and then oh shit, it's Splinter and the Turtles and the foot. It's oh man. Do you think that Corey and Tom and Bobby and Kevin and Rhonda and everybody had this panel done this way to project the future?
I wonder if, a lot of this, I think all the way from the Foot showing up to help destroy the Flyborgs, it really looks like foreshadowing.
Mm-hmm. So they start the whole they're like, oh, Gauntlet, yay, let's do the Gauntlet thing, and Baxter just makes a hasty exit.
I'll be back later, just like he did on Burnout Island.
Yep. So we're it's coming to the end of the book. We're setting this up, and nobody's like, we just can't stand around doing nothing. No, Angel, they'll kill us if we interfere. Alopex speaks the truth. The ritual demands strict adherence to its conventions. Ritual? Yes. It begins with two warrior families locked in irreconcilable conflict, and we see the Turtles on one side, we see Bebop, Rocksteady, Koya, and Bludgeon on the other, and Splinter and Shredder in the middle. It's here with both Splinter and Shredder, but I've noticed this a lot when Splinter's trying to commune with the astral plane or whatever. They have this really awesome background of like purple and reds and blacks and blue stars, just the whole thing. And then I noticed, it's also kind of on Shredder's background. No, well, it's not. It's not at all. It's
those panels are woven together. These weird triangles.
Yeah, the weird triangles. But I just always love that. And Sealed in Death, and we kind of let's see. So the battle's about to begin, and they're in a giant arena. Let's just fight.
Oh man, I don't remember the fight starting this early. That's cool.
Yeah. The fight pretty much starts. Yeah,
that's a beautiful spread.
Which spread?
Rocksteady, Bebop, Koya, Bludgeon, Shredder on one side, and the Turtles and Splinter on the other.
Yep. What's even more fun about it is when we get to the. Yeah. Wow. Let's do it.
Let's do it.
And Rocksteady did. Tom, Kevin, Bobby, I love you guys, but did you really have to put that line in there? What's wrong, Turtle? You in a hurry to get your shell smashed too? Yeah, the fight starts this early, and they're all kicking ass. I love this fight scene.
Yeah,
it's not
it starts right here. 49 and 50 are like the same issue. This is.
Yep.
This is a really quiet podcast where we're like, oh man, the art.
I'm sorry. Yeah, I'm sorry, folks. This part of the podcast is really quiet because holy crap!
Well, and it's all fight scene.
Yeah, I mean, there are some lines, and we've already gone through all the I don't want to say exposition, but we've already gone through all the writing stuff so far, and we got Leo trying to attack Bebop. Oh wait, I didn't know it was tickle time.
They're just so unstoppable.
Blasted turtle broke my tooth. And just oh man, I wish you could see the way the panels are for where Bludgeon says that about breaking his tooth. It then zooms in on Koya and Bebop and then Rocksteady, and oh man, it's just so awesome. And we then go to the sidelines, and they're like, Angel's like, oh, we gotta help him. No buts, no help. And then Kitsune, we have to let this finish without us. Yes, little fox, you do. What? And that's where the issue ends, and Kitsune does her little fox face. And holy crap, that freaks me the hell out. I have to admit, ending the issue with Kitsune and Alopex and the whole... I didn't know what the hell to expect for... I mean, I kind of knew what to expect for 50, but I didn't really know what to expect for 50. And we'll talk about 50 next time, but what are your overall thoughts on 49 here?
This is where it felt good. This was starting to get there. Usually I'm not a big fan of fight scenes in comics because they are static and they take up a lot of space, and I'm in it for those character moments, but this is so well drawn, and there's been so much emotion and drama spent on getting us here that it's very satisfying to finally watch it all kind of resolve. So, huge fan. This is where 50 starts. 50 starts halfway into 49.
Yeah, it really does. And for me, 49 was awesome. I dug it. I thought it was great. There are a lot of twists and turns. I agree with you. I kind of like the more story thing, but I do like how this battle is. There's some story there because you got to have people doing quips. You have to apply the Spider-Man technology or the Spider-Man way of things, and especially with these characters, with Mikey, with all the Turtles, with Bebop and Rocksteady. Bludgeon and Koya, I'm not too sure about, but with those 6 characters specifically, Bebop, Rocksteady, and the 4 Turtles, there has to be all kinds of quips and things, and because that's what we're used to, and that's what hell, we've already quoted half the movie already. And next thing we need is a Donnie and Casey moment. All right, gack face. Right,
alphabetical insults.
I really want Tom at some point, if it ever comes down to it, where Casey and Donnie are fighting or whatever, or not getting along. I really want the alphabet insults to come back. That would be so awesome.
Yeah, my family used to do that when we get in fights. If it ever started getting too heated, we're like, all right, Mom and Dad, A. And it was like you couldn't use profanity. You actually had to come up with something clever because otherwise it got dirty again.
Yeah. You look at that scene, that Atomic Mouth, Barfaroni, Camel Breath,
okay, hose brain.
Elf Lips, Fungoid, Gack Face, and Hose Brain. Overall, I dug 49. I so cannot wait to see what the future holds for this series. It continues to be excellent. We've gone through so much in the series' almost 5-year history in just 2 years on the podcast, but I can't wait to see what happens next. I mean, even after 50. I mean, because I'm telling you right now, folks, you're probably going to hear me cry on air when we talk about 50.
I might too.
Because it's one of those things. Well, it's like I said in the interview with Tom. It's like, you made us cry twice. How dare you? When you quote unquote killed Donnie, and then when you bring him back in 50, just the way that he's brought back and the way that it leads up to we'll get into it next time.
Few books are this consistently written. I mean, I love Daredevil. I've read Daredevil since the Ben Affleck movie. But and I've read it mostly, but every time the artist changes or the writer changes, every time there's a new story arc, there is that 2 to 3 issue honeymoon period where it's like, is this book gonna be good? And yeah, about half the time, no, it's not. And so, but this book, consistently good, and I'm reading this and I'm going, okay, they've got they've got issue 72 to get to, they've got issue 100 to get to as a benchmark. After 100, the only other thing they have is beating Brian Bendis and Bagley, Mark Bagley's run on Ultimate Spider-Man as the longest artist. Well, I guess that these guys have already broken up the artists, but they can still get to that run, and I'll be happy.
Yeah,
because that's the longest run with artist and writer, the same artist and writer on the book. They've already changed artists, so I guess they can't break that record.
Yeah, no, they can't. Well, with writers, they can.
With writer, they could.
Yeah, I mean, because you got Tom, Kevin, and Bobby have been on the whole thing all the way through, with the main ongoing. Now, if you want to get technical and talk about the miniseries and all that, that's separate, but. No, I mean, 49, the whole arc here, from 45 to 49 and then, going into 50, just absolutely amazing. Because what I'm now wondering is, like, Baxter just, took a hike. Like,
yep.
You were talking about earlier that, your big prediction was the Technodrome was going to be 50 and we're going to have this all-out battle. Well, how is Baxter going to come back, and what's going to happen with him? What's going on with the Krang? And I know they have to do this whole Shredder thing, and that's fine. I'm more than happy to read it and to enjoy it and whatever else. But with the events of 50, I'm like, where is this going?
Space.
Oh, yeah, I know.
I don't think you want it to go there, but
I don't know, because see, if Shredder had been an Utrom the whole time, sure, go to space. That's fine. If it was the 2003 kind of style, where Shredder wasn't actually human, sure, but this is its own thing, and if it goes to space, I'm sure I'll be fine.
It doesn't feel like it would fit this, but the Turtles always go to space.
Yeah. I mean, hell, that's what they're doing in season 4 for the next series.
Which is, it follows the Mirage series. I mean, that's once these arcs get wrapped up, that's where they take them.
Yeah, and that's fine. I don't have a problem with it. I want answers first.
Yeah.
Like, I want to know what's going on with Baxter. I want to know how because Krang is going to come into the whole space thing.
Yep.
Because it's going to be him, the Triceratons, and whoever else. Because the Triceraton and the Utroms were the neutrinos. You go back to the Krang spotlight thing, the Utrom Empire thing that they did, the 3 issues. But I need answers on Earth first before we go to space. That's what I need. I need to know where and what the hell is going on with Baxter. What's his next move? And I need to know how Krang is going to come into play, and then we can go to space.
I looked it up here. Dave Sims has done Cerberus from 1977. His run ended in 2004. They will never beat that record.
You never know. So. All right, folks, that's going to do it for us. You got anything you want to pimp out or anything?
Nothing pimping out. The Geek Sale's taking Christmas off because I'm moving, and we'll be back in the spring. We might record an episode of
Geek Stuff Garagecast.
Geek Stuff Garagecast if we can pry ourselves off of Fallout 4.
Fallout 4. Didn't Mike say something on Twitter or somewhere else? Why am I still playing Fallout 4?
Mike doesn't like good games. That's just all it is. I can't help him out. We still find some to play together. We just gotta put the leather bite in our mouth and chug through each other's games. But we enjoy each other's company. If Fallout were a multiplayer game, he'd be having a lot more fun.
Yeah. All right, folks, that's going to do it for us here in the Pull Bag. What's coming up next? I'm trying to think now. Next week we will have TMNT 50 as episode 118, and then after that, Dark Side December starts, where Ryan Drost from Star Joe's and I are going to be talking about the comic versions of the Thrawn trilogy, Dark Empire in 2 episodes. And then we're going to bridge the gap from Jedi to Farce Awakens and talk about Shattered Empire, the 4-issue miniseries that Marvel did recently. And there'll probably be some Gem stuff. There'll probably be some Gem stuff in there for December, because Gem over at IDW, they're doing a holiday special. So is Transformers and that kind of stuff. So we'll probably do the Gem holiday special as well in December. So that's what's coming up inside the Pull Bag. Make your great escape into comics, and we will catch you next time.
You've just heard the latest episode of the Pull Bag, the GCRN's comic review and discussion podcast. There are several ways to get in touch with us and leave feedback for the show. You can visit the website, geekcastradio.com, where you can comment on the episode and all of our different podcasts. You can rate our show on iTunes. Be sure to leave us feedback. Call the voicemail line, 502-526-5821. Please remember to tell us the show you're leaving the message for and your name. Become a fan of us on Facebook by searching GeekCast Radio Network. Send us an email feedback at geekcastradio.com. Follow us on Twitter at GeekCast Radio. So until next time, make your great escape into comics and unleash the geek in you.